Hey everyone, and welcome to the Angular AI Developer event. We have a lot of exciting content in store for you, including key updates, live demos, and we'll be taking your questions live throughout the event. So be sure to comment. Now, the Angular team has been working on some new projects, and we think that you're really gonna like this next one. So let's hear from our Senior Engineering Manager and Lead, Simona Codegen.
Hi, everyone. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to our very special session today, exploring the possibilities with Angular and AI. My name is Simona and I work on Angular. AI is fundamentally changing how we build software and how we work. So picture this. You're on the smart shoe team. The market is shifting under your feet. And leadership wants a groundbreaking new UI, not in 6 months, but in 1 month. That timeline is impossible with the regular workflows that you use day to day. You decide that this is the perfect moment to embrace vibe coding. You start generating code, and at first it feels like magic. Components appear in seconds, services write themselves. You're moving faster than ever before. But then the magic kind of starts to fade. The generated code doesn't quite work with your existing setup. It's full of outdated patterns. You spend hours debugging simple accessibility issues, and a security review flags a dozen vulnerabilities. You're caught in a new kind of trap. The speed of AI is very tempting, but the code it produces sometimes isn't code you can actually trust. It's not always production ready. And this is the central challenge we face as developers today. How do we harness the incredible speed of AI without really sacrificing the quality, security, and performance our users deserve? In Angular, we've been laser focused on solving for this. We believe you shouldn't have to choose between speed and confidence. Our mission is to turn AI into a reliable production-grade partner. And we're tackling this in 2 key ways. First, you can't really improve what you cannot measure. That's why I'm thrilled to announce that today we are open sourcing a new tool, the Web Codegen Scorer. This tool is like a fitness test for LLM-generated code. It takes prompts, feeds them to an LLM like Gemini, and then scores the generated code. It builds the code, runs security and accessibility checks, and then it verifies that it uses modern best practices. It gives you a clear objective score on the quality of the code and the UI. Now you can finally measure and validate the code that LLMs produce for you. Let's have a quick look at a demo. I'm in my CLI, and I want to test Angular code generation with Gemini. So I can run Web Codegen Scorer eval with the Angular example environment. This is just one of the predefined environments, but you can configure new environments with any framework and any model. This kicks off a new round of tests. And while the tool is running here, we can just go and have a look at a previous run. And look at that, a perfect score, 100. What this number means is that the AI-generated code didn't just run. It actually ran well. It passed our security checks. It met our accessibility standards. It used modern best practice Angular patterns. This isn't just generated code. This is production-ready code. And this is the secret sauce. The scorer doesn't just show you the result. It actually shows you the recipe. You can see the exact system prompt we engineered to get these high-quality results, giving you a blueprint for success in your own projects. An AI summary gives us details about the aggregated runs. And we can inspect individual applications to see the actual prompt that generated the app and the individual results. This tool is the result of team collaboration across Google. We worked with our security team to include security checks, with Gemini teams to review our methodology, and with Chrome teams to share knowledge. And it can be used to test any framework with any model. So we also partnered with our dear friends over at Solid.js. Thank you so much, Dev, for collaborating with us. So you can see here Codegen results against the same prompts but building solid apps. Go npm install Web Codegen Scorer and try it with your favorite framework and model. Include it in your workflows and let us know how it works for you. If you are interested in learning more about our eval infrastructure, head over to blog.angular.dev to read more about the work we've done. But measuring code quality is only half of the picture. How do we help LLMs get it right the first time? This brings me to our second announcement today. We're shipping new experimental tools in our Model Context Protocol, MCP server, directly in the Angular CLI. First, we're working on solving the stale knowledge problem. An LLM's training data has a cutoff date. To fix this, we're building a local retrieval augmented generation, or RAG engine. This gives an AI assistant a searchable, curated database of official best practice Angular code samples and direct access to our latest documentation. This means that AI isn't guessing based on old blog posts. It's generating code that's grounded in the source of truth from day zero. Second, as Angular continues to evolve, we believe in bringing everyone along. We are building powerful migration tools that help you keep your codebase up to date. A great example is our new experimental zoneless migration tool. It analyzes your project and provides the exact next steps to adopt modern, high-performance zoneless patches. By giving AI access to live documentation, official examples, and migration tools, we are actively guiding it to write great code from day zero. So we're providing the tools to measure the quality of AI-generated code and the tools to guide AI to write better code from the start. We see a future where AI isn't just a code generator, but a true collaborator, one that understands the nuances of your production application. Our goal is to make Angular the framework where that collaboration happens seamlessly, safely, and at scale. Okay, so here are my asks for you. Everyone has homework. First of all, continue watching this live stream. We have so many great things in store for you today. Our incredible DevRel team has prepared live demos and Q&As with teams from Google ready to chat and connect with developers. Go to angular.dev/AI and check out the Web Codegen Scorer on GitHub. Try out our MCP tooling. Share your feedback with us on GitHub or socials. We're so excited to see what you built. Thank you so much for joining. Over to you, Mark.
Thanks so much, Simona. You know, the thing that I love about this tool is that it is open for everyone, not just Angular. And as Simona said, we've already started working with the Solid team. So other teams can use this tool and configure it to run with your choice of model since we use GenKit behind the scenes. Now, it is really so exciting to see the direction that Angular is taking and how we're working to improve the overall AI experience for developers everywhere. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the new eval tool, be sure to head over to our Angular GitHub to give it a try. Definitely check it out. And while you're there, definitely check out the newest RFC where we're asking all about AI applications and what you're building and how you're building. Now, with trying in mind, some of you maybe wanted to try and learn Angular for the first time, or maybe you just need a refresher. Well, our guest has just the tool for you. So I need everybody to go wild in the chat with celebration as we welcome my colleague and good friend, Devin Chastanoff, to talk about the Angular AI Tutor. Devin, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mark. Hey, everybody. I'm Devin, one of the developer relations engineers on the Angular team. And as you can imagine in DevRel, we're always thinking about ways that we can make the Angular learning journey better, more rewarding, more fun. And with all these new tools out there like Firebase Studio, we thought we had an opportunity to do just that. So, what does an incredible learning experience look like? Well, it should make you think. That way you can actually understand and retain concepts. It should let you come back and pick up where you left off. It should provide an easy way to dive deeper into topics without losing your flow. And today, I'm really excited to share with you all that we've open sourced a new tool called the Angular AI Tutor that you can check out to start learning Angular today. So if you want to check it out, you can head over to github.com/Angular/AI tutor. And while you're there, let me see if I could share my screen here. There we go. While you're there, you can see this little button here, Try in Firebase Studio. And clicking that will it will clone this GitHub repository, and it will create a new workspace for you to get started. So that takes a minute or so. So let's flip over to our live demo and take a look. So here you can see this if you're new to Firebase Studio, it's an AI-powered IDE where you've got the help of Gemini built right in. But if you look on the left here, you can see that this page should look pretty familiar if you've ever used the Angular CLI, because this is what it generates when you run the ng new command. So to wake up the tutor, all I have to do is hit hello, type hello. And while it processes, I can walk you through a little bit. Oh, here we go. So first thing it's going to do is check where we left off. And this being a new project, it's going to start right from the beginning. And what's really cool about this is we wanted to mirror a real development environment, right? If you were starting a new app, this is the page you would get. And while we're going through this tutorial, it's a cohesive lesson to build an actual application called our Smart Recipe Box. But it wants to know what level I am in Angular. That way it can cater the lesson to my skill level. So I'll come in here and I can type anything. I'll type 6.
Okay,
and
Devin,
what that'll
before you
do is
continue,
sorry, go ahead, Mark.
yeah, hate to interrupt you, but I just love the idea that developers can type in their level. So tell them what a 6 means, and then if it's that expert, is that, where should somebody start?
Yeah, so it really depends on you. So if we scroll back up here, there's a scale. So 1 would be complete beginner. You're new to Angular. That's really a good way to get thorough explanations from the LLM. And 10 is I'm an Angular expert. So if you were a 10, maybe you've been working with Angular for a long time, but you want to get up to date with some of the latest features and practices and so forth. So
Awesome.
once I type in my experience level, it'll tell me what our first few modules are. And every lesson is kind of broken up into the same structure. So in this case, what it wants to teach us is the project structure, how an Angular app is really laid out. And every single module is about the same. It contains a little explanation, a little code example, if applicable. Here, it doesn't apply. And then an exercise. And I really want to focus on this exercise. And I think this is one of the things that's really special about this tutor. You'll notice here, it has an objective and an expected outcome. So it's not asking us to just take a line of code, put it into a file. It's telling us to solve real problems. And I think that's where the real learning happens. So here, for example, it wants us to replace this boilerplate code with some actual code. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'll do is I will open up my app.html file here. And let's put in a header like it's asking me to. My Smart Recipe Box. And if we go over to our web preview, that's what we have. So I can tell the agent I'm done. Let's see what happens. So right now it's checking my answer. And if I got it right, we can move on. And if I get it wrong, it'll help me figure it out.
Wait, so Devin, how does it know if it's right or wrong? Is it really checking your project code?
Yeah, so it's actually going in and reading my project code, and it's comparing it with the expected answer. So in this case, it said I did a good job, got it right, which is always good. And we move on to the next topic here, which is dynamic text with interpolation. So again here, you can see that we get a little bit of an explanation. In this case, we get a code sample and then our exercise. And one of the things you might notice if you look at this specific example is that we're using a signal here, but we haven't really gotten into signals. So maybe I'm curious to learn a little bit more. Let's give it a try. So I'm just going to ask, what are signals for? And this is a great way to dive deeper into topics without actually having to leave the flow of the tutorial. And not only that, if I ask more questions, the LLM will keep this context in mind as I continue through the tutorial, which is really valuable. So as you can see here, it gives me a great explanation, what it is, how to use it, the magic of signals, and even an explanation as to why to use signals versus regular variables. So in this case, let's now that I've learned a little bit more about signals, let's take a look at this exercise. So what we want to do here is replace our static title with a dynamic title, one that's referenced from our class variable using a signal. So let's go ahead and do that. So go into our app.ts file, and let's change our title.
And Devin, after you finish this update, I would love to see if our community has any questions or comments about the tool.
That sounds great. So I'm just going to replace my header with our new signal using string interpolation. And it's called our title. So we'll enter in a title here. Let's click done. I don't know if you notice anything wrong, but let's see if the tutor does. So let's check in our work. If we look at the web preview, this is a little bit of a hint. This isn't what our app's supposed to look like. And it says we're so close. It's reviewed our work, but we didn't quite get it wrong. We need to add the parentheses. So this is a great way to get instant feedback. That way you can understand what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. So let me add those parentheses in, tell my tutor I'm done, and let's take some questions.
Awesome. All right, production team, I'd love to see some questions about what we're talking about right now, which is the AI tutor developed by Devin. Fantastic thing. Okay, so Jerome, Dev, what's up, Jerome? Good to see you as always. How are modules or AI for the AI tutor generated? Can we expect them to be up to date with new changes on release day one? Excellent question.
Yeah, that's a good question. And so right now, the way the modules work is, and I'm going to type something. I'm just going to type table of contents. And while that loads, I'll talk. And this, I can type table of contents to get the full list of all the modules. And as you can see here, it's a static curriculum, so to speak. And part of the reason we did this was to make it more reliable in terms of how it works, the results we get. And maybe in the future we'll make other sorts of tutorials, but we really focus this one on some introductory topics that any developer would need in order to get started with Angular. And right now, this tutorial is up to date with new Angular features and best practices as of V20. And what we'll plan to do is keep this up to date. That way we can continue giving everybody all the best content and information about Angular.
Fantastic. All right, I think let's take a couple more questions, Devin, and then you'll show us any last things that you want people to know about the tool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Ahmed says the tool is only for Angular. Can it be used to learn NGRX, how to write tests with different tools? So is it specifically for Angular, or does it expand to the Angular ecosystem? Excellent question.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think I'm gonna tell a little bit about how the sausage is made here. So if you want to know how I built this tutor, you can actually see it because it's open source. And the way that this works is we use an AI rules file, similar to one that you can use to get Angular best practices and generate high quality Angular code. And we've simply adapted that in order to create a tutor experience by the LLM. So if you go into the AI rules file, you can actually see exactly how this is created. And one of the things that you'll notice, it does have a very specific curriculum. However, it's still built on top of a model. So if you have specific questions about anything unrelated to the specific tutor content, the answers will generally be as good as the context that the LLM has. So if the underlying model has knowledge in that, plus the knowledge in what's in our rules files, it'll generally give you good answers. But I think it's best for this specific curriculum. But who knows? Maybe in the future, we'll look at ways to make this more dynamic.
All right, let's take one more question from the community on this one. All right, Victor says, can we already start from an advanced project and not from the beginning? So Devin, this was a question that I had for you starting out was it possible to have it as almost like a guide for you as to kind of co-author with you as you're building into a project and you're like learning as you're building? Could you do something like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So this specific tutor project is going to build the Smart Recipe app. That's how it's designed. However, if that is something you're interested in, I would highly encourage you to take a look at the source code or the source rules files. And what you can do is borrow some of that language, some of that logic, and you can make the tutor work however you want in your own project by bringing that logic and context into whatever it is you're building. So this is a great way to learn Angular, but if you're really interested, it's a great way to learn how to get LLMs to work for you in the context of your Angular project.
I love this. Devin, give us some final thoughts on anything you want developers or builders in general, anyone who wants to use this tool. What would you like them to know?
I just want you to know that there's a very thorough README there because there's a ton of functionality built into this, such as skipping modules, getting detailed directions about how to complete an exercise, and some other features too. So I'd really encourage you to check it out, github.com/Angular/AI tutor. Give the repo a try, give it a star, and I really hope you love it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, definitely star that repo. We put short links in the description of this video. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, there's so mmany links, actually production team, let's pull that link back up we have a short link for you so you can know even shorter, goo.gle/ng-ai-tutor. But this link and any other link that we mentioned throughout the broadcast are going to be right in the description of this video on all platforms that you're watching. Devin, you're the best, and we'll catch you very soon.
Bye, everybody.
All right, definitely huge shout out to my teammate, Devin. Great work there. That's really cool. I'll tell you this. So I think the AI tutor is just such an interesting and interactive way to learn Angular, but not the only way. It's just a new tool for you to try. So if you haven't already, be sure to get your questions in the chat because we are definitely doing some cool things. And my next guest on this stream, can I just tell you that what you're in for is really a big treat because what he made, you'll definitely want to give a try. So please welcome Taylor Mullen, creator of Gemini CLI. Taylor, what's up? Thank you so much. Okay, first, before I gotta tell you, friends at home, Taylor is incredibly busy, and he made time to hang out with us. And so, Taylor, thank you for that, and thank you for creating the Gemini CLI. Like, that's pretty phenomenal.
Oh, that's too humbling. Honestly, it would not have been possible without an absolutely amazing team. Everyone at Google has been so welcoming. I guess for folks who don't know, I'm actually pretty new at Google, which is hilarious in its own way. And so Gemini CLI coming in hot like this has been pretty surreal and would not have been possible without everyone just supporting this magical endeavor that we've done and made possible.
Okay, so first, I wish that when I joined Google, I had an incredible contribution like this to start off with. It took me some years before I had something that cool to show off to people, but very glad to have you. All right, so Taylor, today we're going to build an app with, so it's kind of almost want to say mixed media because we're going to use a little bit of the Angular tooling to start, So you created an app shell for us to start, but we're going to continue the story with the Gemini CLI.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So you told me to go ahead and boot this up earlier. And so I've created a brand new Angular app. Literally, it's the basic, absolutely nothing else currently. Here's where I'm at. What next? Help me, walk me through this.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so we got the app. So what I would love to show developers, because I think people are really interested to understand how they can use the Gemini CLI in their workflows. So let's first set up our system prompt so we can know how to use like Angular best practices. So we want to go to angular.dev/AI/develop with AI. And if you just do /AI, it'll pull up for you exactly what you need.
Boom. All right.
Perfect.
Here we go. All right, so then I see this amazing, you're an expert type of Angular suitable web application developer. And this is the first thing that people realize is that these systems are tailored to do so many things. And so when we deal with things like having a custom system prompt, like this is incredibly powerful, right? Because you want it to feel very tailored to your experiences. And so having something like this just available, already awesome. So let's grab this. Okay, so now I'm assuming let's go ahead and set this up. Let's do that. So we have something called a Gemini MD file. You've probably heard of various other MD formats that exist out in the ecosystem. We have our own because we found that a lot of these markdown formats today are very tool specific. So we've tried to make it so that what you build really resonates with the application and the tools you're trying to use. So we're going to create a Gemini MD file, and let's go ahead, let's insert this prompt as is. And just like that, I now have my instructions. This actual file will be booted up when I use Gemini. Booted just by typing Gemini once you've installed it. And for me, I actually have my personal Gemini MD file, it looks like, but I just have that Gemini MD file that we just created that gives us a little more information of how to actually operate in our Angular application with Gemini CLI. Okay, what next?
All right, so from there, let's actually see if we can get the Gemini CLI running in our project and then have it start the server, the Angular web server, without telling it any details.
Okay, let's do this. Can you figure out how to run this application and open it for me? And let's see if it's going to be able to figure this out for us. So we'll go ahead and give it a simple prompt. And one of the beautiful things about this is that it's able to dig through our code bases just like we would. So when it runs into issue, oh, there we go. And there it goes. So it looks like it's doing a start and it's doing an open. Let's actually give this a shot here. And the funny thing about this is, oh, actually open another browser. I'll bring this over here. And just like that, it's actually running. Now, just like how we would use a command line tool like this when we're running something that's interactive, it's going to hold the server open as we let it go. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and hit escape here, and I'm going to cancel that because, again, I don't want this to be running. I want to actually keep iterating. So we can actually go one step further and say, that was great. Let's run that in the background to give us a little more control of saying how it's supposed to be run. And this way, again, it can go ahead and do all this behind the scenes for us. And in this situation, it rebooted it. It's now running in the background. I can ask it to kill it at any moment because it has full control over what's happening on my box.
Oh, love that. And what I also love is the natural language that we're using to just describe what we want, right? Like, no problem.
Yeah. Okay, what next? It looks like we had a little. Right now, it's actually one of the amazing things is Nano Banana has been taking over us at Google right now, and we're definitely having some API load issues. We're going to push through this because it's flexible enough to do that. So let's keep going.
All right, we'll keep going. And thank you for using Nano Banana, people. Thank you for using Gemini API, and thank you for making this demo even more challenging and fun for us in real time. All right, so let's tell people what we're going to have Gemini CLI help us with. So I asked Taylor to create a parking meter tracker. And so we have a prompt that I provided him with. We did not run it beforehand. I just said, hey, here's the prompt we're going to type in. So we want to update the home screen to show a dashboard featuring city parking meters. We want to display the street location of the meter, the total revenue, and operational status. So that's the whole prompt. And let's just see what it does.
Right. Let's go through this path. I think this is one of the beautiful things. I think one of the values here that folks can realize is when we work with things like a command line or all the tools on our box, there's so many things that can go wrong and that do go wrong along the way, right? Like in this sort of situation, it booted something behind the scenes interactively, which made it held up the application. So as you dig through this, Gemini CLI is built in order to make sure when you're working through your Angular applications or anything that kind of works with your box, that it can react and it can really iterate for you. So here it's actually trying to write up some files for us on the behalf. And I mentioned when things go wrong, just like this, it's able to self-correct and it's able to heal. So in this situation, it's starting to create some files. Very rich, by the way. I love this, that we always try and make it so that things feel very native to the experience. So colorized context and colorized code along the way. Of course, the beautiful markdown rendering for it. I went ahead and said accept all edits, by the way. I kind of glazed over that, but we give full control to the developer as they're going through this, where I can actually hit undo here. And if it tries to write another file here, it'll stop and it'll ask me again, just like this, to make sure that the developer, that we are always in control, to make sure that when we have something as powerful as something that's running in our terminal, that it can really be controlled and be understood, so we can kind of guide it as we need to. It looks like we have one more file. Okay, actually, I'll go back into accepting all edits. And it's just writing out a lot of code for us actually pretty quickly. Oh my goodness, now it's creating CSS for it. That looks fantastic. Okay, look, we're getting there, it looks like. Slowly but surely, which is amazing. And I'm assuming we're probably just going to see this start running behind the scenes and start updating, which could be very cool to see. Looks like,
and if we have to debug anything together, we can do that.
Honestly, it's one of those things where I would much rather it be debuggable, because in that case, you can really show how it can hit these error cases. So here it tried building this, and now it saw the errors. So it saw that it wasn't able to get the first time perfectly, but it is able to see those errors and self-heal as it digs through this. The self-healing aspect is one of the most amazing things. Just think of how many times you've tried to use some CLI application and you didn't necessarily know how to use it properly. And then when it's able to see these sorts of issues, it can really help you. Actually, I'm going to just let it always build for us. So we can kind of have this kind of self-healing loop for us. It looks like this one, I think we actually may have been okay here. Build it successfully, can run the application. Let's go ahead and refresh over here. And wow, just like that.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Now, I want to do one escalation, then we'll take some questions here. I noticed in the code it proposed that it looked like it used regular properties and not signals. Can we ask it to convert the properties to signals?
Signals. Oh, actually, I'll say keyword property signals, or I could say I could say I saw that you use these. Let's see. I actually like to talk to Gemini CLI pretty naturally a lot of the times. So it's kind of funny that they always say, "Hey, do you think your AI is kind of working through your things in your behalf?" I don't know about everyone else. I always will typically think and be quite kind to my AI, just because.
I always say please. I'm not going to lie to you.
Always say please and thank you. I think I missed a thank you or a please there, which is a little unfortunate. Just like that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's digging through all these details. This is that's one thing to call it here, by the way, too. We've tried to make it super rich so that when you actually are seeing these things change, that they feel very natural. But in addition, I could be using my IDE of choice here, right? So we've built so much for Angular across all the ecosystems in order to make it really rich in your development environment. Or even if you want to go ahead and weave Gemini CLI into those environments, it's totally possible. We actually just released IDE integration mode. So just like that, we're still running. We've done our conversion. How does this look?
That looks good. I was looking at the conversion. I see the signals there. That's exactly what we want. All right, let's take a moment, Taylor, and let's get some questions from the community, because I'm sure people want to know and ask questions of you since we have you for this time. I want to give people some chance. Okay, ID Status asked the question, can you give me some real-world use cases why someone would use the CLI instead of Gemini Studio or some other tool? This is a great question, actually. I love this one.
Oh, I love this one too. So, okay, the example that I typically give folks is if you think of all of your apps of choice, they're usually very integrated into their one experience. Like you give them a prompt and maybe an app gets spit out the other end, right? But then you want to integrate that flow with maybe your local information. It could be a Word doc. It could be an email. It could be a chat. It could be so many things. And so what do? you end up screenshotting or trying to kind of manipulate your information to be woven into this other app to fit its boundaries. The CLI is different. The CLI is actually quite techy. It's kind of at the foundation of our compute, which means by default, the CLI is almost integrated with everything. It can go ahead and understand your Word docs. It can pull in information from anywhere. It can even take screenshots for you because it has that level of power. So when I suggest when to use the CLI, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the big ones is you're trying to take all these different aspects of your life, of your developer flow, and weave them all together. It's really good at doing that. It's really flexible. It's customizable. We've made it super accessible. As we started off this demo, actually making it a professional Angular developer, kind of making sure that it could go ahead and understand everything. But if I had my own tailored pieces, I could also tailor it. And that tailoring will also weave across my entire work stream of how I bring in all the information to have one outcome. So I think that's one piece. And of course, CLIs are just one of those things that you use on a daily basis for a number of reasons. So when it makes sense, feel like you should use it. And if not, that's okay too. It's meant to be lightweight and ubiquitous.
Yeah, and we also have another special guest who will talk about the use cases for Gemini Canvas, for example, some places where that is a really good fit for you. And I love the idea of using it beyond the developer experience, because I hadn't even thought about like, oh, I need a screenshot of this thing. Let me ask. Right. I mean, it's just a different workflow versus something that I would do, let's say, when I'm working in a Google Doc, and then I'll say, okay, Gemini, please read this and let me know what I've missed. Right. Like that's one workflow. But then, like you said, I can go through the terminal or the Gemini CLI in my command prompt, and I can do some more things. So I think I'm going to use this. I know I work here. Friends at home, I know I work here, but I'm just telling you that like I'm going to use this for even more things because I like the ideas behind it. Let's get another question from the community. All right, can you tell me the most, interesting. All right, this is good. Can you tell me the most challenging thing in generating code accurately?
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is, I hate to say an easy one, but because it's a challenging thing. It's one of the things we deal with every single day, which is we call it the time capsule problem, right? So all these models are trained on the whole vastness of the internet at a point in time, which means they've seen a certain version of all the releases. They think the date is a certain date, right? And this is why you have things like a live mode, like AI mode for Google search, where it will try and weave across all of our information that we've indexed across the internet to try and give you the most active information. Well, code, it's a little harder to do that, right? Because there's so many details to code, to getting the right code syntax, getting the right things generated. Not to mention, when you start conflating different frameworks and things that look very familiar, well, these models only have what you give them. They don't necessarily know all of the details. And so trying to really bridge that gap with context engineering is one of the biggest challenges. And of course, they will also make mistakes when they have perfect information. And so I think one of the biggest challenges is how can we make it so these models, when they do undoubtedly make mistakes, how can we enable them to self-heal? How can we enable them to kind of take that next step to realize they made a mistake, find a solution, and apply that solution? So I think the time capsule problem is probably the biggest challenging part to it, at least from our perspective, I'd say.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, I think we have time for at least one more before we got to let Taylor get back to his busy schedule. All right, this is good. Can we write unit test cases and test functionality using an AI agent?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. We lean on Gemini CLI so much for testing itself. Can we actually go back to my screen really quickly? Is that possible? Okay, let's do this. So one of the things that I will typically do when we have a new release is I will go here and I'll say /tools, and I will copy all this stuff, and I'll be like, I am smoke testing this tool. I'm testing Gemini CLI, and it has the following tools, and I'll paste these. Can you smoke test these for me, please? So in general, from like functionality perspective, I have it test itself as new things happen, just from a functionality perspective, are things still working? And this goes so much further where if you go, it's trying to find files, it's trying to read folder, it's doing all these things to try and smoke test itself, right? But in addition, writing unit tests is just in general such a powerful thing. We use Gemini CLI to write its own tests. And of course, we cross-check them. We like to say that we actually have human eyes on every single change that goes in, because we want to make sure that the code quality of this is super high, and that it's not just doing fake tests along the way. But I do have to say, I haven't written my own test in a very long time. I lean on Gemini CLI to write a large portion of its own tests, and I think I can't talk for what the percentage is post open sourcing, but it itself has written so much of its own code, which is really empowering. And I think the thing that the team says is it's so easy to 10x yourself these days. The real challenge is actually becoming, how do you 100x yourself, right? And that's when you get into things like things in parallel. It's like the new challenge. It's fun.
Fantastic. Taylor, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for hanging out. Everyone, definitely check out Gemini CLI. Anything that you want people to know before we say goodbye for today?
Oh my gosh. I think, honestly, share how you're using Gemini CLI with Angular. Share your system prompts. Share how we can improve our own and what things work for you. Because I think this is a growing area that everything works a little bit differently, and we could all benefit from each other's wins.
Oh, so awesome. Taylor, thank you so much. We'll definitely talk again soon. All right. You know, it really amazes me. Like, honestly, let me just tell you, come here. Let me tell you something. It amazes me that I get to work with such cool people. Like, look how awesome Taylor was. The creator of Gemini CLI could be really not awesome, but turns out to be awesome. But definitely check out the Gemini CLI, links in the description. Get out there, try it, let us know how you're using it. Now, another person that I am so fortunate to get to work with is somebody that I actually knew from the developer community before we both came to Google. This next guest is just one of those brilliant people that inspires you to create really amazing things. So from the Firebase Studio team, let's welcome the one and only Rody Davis. Rody, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark.
Yeah,
we have
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, we have some exciting things to show off today with Angular.
Yeah, we'd love to go ahead and get your screen shared and let's show people. So tell them, what are we going to be talking about? Like give the people the ideas.
Yeah, so for people that aren't aware, Angular and Firebase have a really cool story together. Firebase Studio is built on top of Google Cloud Workstations. So we have a full VM in the cloud with many templates to get started. And if you see on the very first page, we have Angular front and center, but we also have recently updated a bunch of our templates to include a new set of AI capabilities. Angular being one of them allows us to create with the Angular MCP server, updated rules files, and then also even including the Firebase MCP server. So
I love that. I love that buzzword you said, where you said MCP. That's what everybody cares about the streets. Love the MCP server. So very excited for this demo.
Yeah, awesome. So you may be wondering, how does the MCP server actually work inside of Firebase Studio, and why should users care? And one of the first things that we wanted to add it for is everybody asks, I want to be able to provision some Firebase service, or I want to have more contextual dev tooling in my chat. And now that is possible. So now in the built-in chat, we can go down and we could say do I have any Firebase projects? And we will see that it will go ahead and run the tool. Oh, I didn't run it that time, but just 1 second.
No, that's fine, because this is live and we don't want anybody to think that we're kidding. This is real. This is happening right now. So it's totally
sure
fine.
Is. Yeah. And since we're doing it live, we can go ahead and check. If you're ever curious about debugging inside of Firebase Studio, you can just check the logs and we can see all the tools that are loaded. Let me go ahead and close this. Okay, let's see. What tools do you have? And I do have some other demos to show in case this doesn't work, but we will go ahead and check it out. Okay, awesome. So we can see that we have the Firebase project tools already being listed, but we also, like I said, have the Angular MCP. So we can also do things like search the Angular docs for how to use signals, which we just talked about earlier. Another exciting update is the built-in model inside of our chat inside of Firebase Studio now uses Gemini 2.5 Pro for everyone. So this should really enable more powerful apps for everyone.
Oh, fantastic. I love that news.
Yeah. So we can see that I searched for signals. This used the RAG documentation tool inside of Angular, and this already gives us a more contextual, up-to-date information that we can use in further generation. The other nice thing here is it can use multiple tools in conjunction with each other. We default to auto run mode, which allows you to automatically apply those edits. So you can start with a plan and then start building. So let me go ahead and show you an app that I've been working on that is built with Angular, using Angular material, using signals implementation, and then also our MCP servers. So if you look in here, it's using latest stuff, just like you would be used to if you were following the latest guides on Angular. And this just kind of shows you that, even though that the model may not have the most up-to-date information, we can still take advantage of building a really nice application. One of the things that I mentioned earlier is these new AI templates, including Angular, have been updated. And one of the biggest changes is we have now the preview on the left and the chat on the right. We are already working to make this a lot better, including updating how we process and read rules files, and then how we run MCP servers. And you just saw a really cool demo by the Gemini CLI. And now every user will have Gemini CLI pre-installed on Firebase Studio. So whether you prefer it in the terminal or you prefer it in the chat, we have you covered.
Okay, that was a slight flex that you just like casually threw in there. Like, oh yeah, you can just do the Gemini CLI here too. And okay, I see what you're doing, Rody. No, love this energy. Keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is a whole full stack Google trying to come all in one place, bringing the best of Firebase and Angular and our other dev tooling. And I just want to show you some other really cool things that we offer. We have Firebase app hosting that when you're ready to deploy your Angular application, you have like a one-click right here to be able to deploy that either to Cloud Run or Firebase app hosting or regular hosting if you prefer. And you can also do things like adding Gemini API keys. This is just the start of your AI journey inside of Firebase Studio, and I hope that it can go much deeper. Here's another completely different app that we built. Same kind of thing. Like here it's like asking to list the projects, and this is running the Firebase MCP inside of a contextual chat, which is already bringing you closer to connected to the Firebase console, connected to these dev toolings. And then here I have another example that is just a simple counter, but I wanted to show off the code because I feel like we've talked a lot about trying to get Angular code generation by default as high quality as possible out of the box. And I feel like just the MCP server with the search documentation tool is already adding just this level of finesse, like, in the chat that makes it really nice to build.
Fantastic. Love all of this stuff. Okay, so I have a few questions, and then I want to queue up some questions from the community. First and foremost, I didn't notice you do any configuration for the MCP servers.
Yeah, so if you go over into idx/mcp.json, we actually, when you install the Angular template. We have set up the Angular and Firebase MCP server for you out of the box. The only thing that I did,
to do.
and the only thing that I did before starting was just run Firebase login to pre-authorize some of the commands like listing projects, but it's not required. It'll tell you what to do if you run a tool that needs to be authenticated.
Oh, love this. Okay. Second question. This is a question that I just have about Firebase Studio, and I'm sure other developers do as well. Is Firebase Studio, can I just like work out of Firebase Studio for like my full development experience, like building my apps and web apps, all the kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think so. One of the nice things about Firebase Studio is it's this parallel development environment that kind of goes with you on whatever machine you're on. You can sync your code to GitHub, you can download it as a zip, but it gets really powerful once you start to use our collaboration features. You can, with one click, share this with someone by email. They can be in the same VM as you and be working in the same code, even if it's not synced to GitHub or any type of Git provider. The reason why this is so important is you may have this complex staging environment that you have Postgres set up, you have a bunch of other services all configured, and you want to actually connect and peer program with someone to be like, is this working correctly? Can you help me out? Or I just want to validate that staging's working. And so using Firebase Studio as this ad hoc VM really gives you a nice repeatable environment in the cloud that is separate from local, right? Local is really good for development and isolation and be able to sync it and repeatable builds. But when you have something that runs on the web, you can also do things like when people say, you share a local host, like you could actually share a local host in Firebase Studio. So if I make this preview public, I could share this dev server on any social media or with anybody and they'd see it. Like, of course, this is not going to work for you, but yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, so if my environment's running and I'm like, it works on my machine, and I can actually prove it to the whole world, and I can actually prove that. Oh, I love that.
You sure can.
Well, all right.
Of course, it'd be limited by how many.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, finish your thought.
And I said, yeah, of course, it would be limited by how many requests the VM can handle, which could be a lot. But it's use it at your own risk. Obviously, you want to deploy to Firebase or any other provider if you wanted to serve it.
Sure. Okay, let's do a couple of rapid fire questions from the community.
Awesome.
All right, can Firebase Studio access my current Firebase project, specifically an old Firebase web project I would like to overwrite an old? Okay, so this person has an older project. John, he has an older project, but he wants to get involved, update it, and overhaul it. Can you access old projects with Firebase Studio?
Yeah, so two of the things that you could do is import that project into Firebase Studio, copy over the dev.next for migrating Angular if needed. You would need to at least have the configuration for running the dev server, which should be the same on the Angular version. You'll have to check. Once you have that all set up, it's just a matter of connecting with Firebase. So you can do Firebase login to initialize the connection to the MCP server. And then there are some tools around like initializing which project you want. But yeah, it should just, there's no reason why it wouldn't work. And if there is, please reach out.
Excellent. Let's do one more question from the community. All right. Can Firebase Studio help you with security auditing? Yes. I love this question. Thinking about things like making sure Firebase data stores are not publicly accessible, etc. No, this is huge. Firebase rules, like, can it help you with this?
Yes, for sure. We, in addition to our assistants built into the IDE, the console has a variety of features. There's also tools that will be inside the MCP server that should also help you as well.
Fantastic. Rody, you are a legend as always. Definitely have people check it out. So, hey, production team, can we put the link up on the screen? So if you want to try out the Angular Firebase template right now, you can just go to goo.gle/firebase-studio-angular-template. That is a quick way to do it. We got just a short link for you. Or you can go to firebase.studio, click on Get Started, and then choose the Angular link. From there, you have a lot of options. Rody, you are a legend. Any last words for the community before we say goodbye for today?
No, thanks so much for having me. And I just really hope that if you haven't tried Firebase Studio in a while, or you even used Project.ex, give it another shot. Gemini 2.5 Pro really does make it so much better for building.
Fantastic. I appreciate your time, Rudy. See you soon.
Thanks.
All right, friends. I mean, pretty cool stuff. And remember, MCP is like everywhere right now. You can't turn on the computer without saying MCP. But we're an Angular team. We love to meet developers where they are. So, that's the really awesome thing that we did about with Firebase Studio and with Rudy. Did you notice how all of that was in the browser? You could have showed me this demo when I started my career 20 years ago, and I would not have believed you. I would not have believed that you could have had a full-blown IDE in the browser. Really incredible stuff. Thanks again, Rudy. So that new Angular template that he's talking about, again, I'm going to put that on the screen one more time. You want to go to goo.gle, and you should have /Firebase-Studio-Angular-template. All right, friends, we got one more demo for you that I definitely don't want you to miss. All right. The Gemini app is incredibly powerful. I'm sure you friends have been seeing it. You've been using it. And then I want you to know, excuse me, I caught my breath for a second. This is live TV. This is what happens when you're on live. You can lose your breath. All right. There are incredible features in Gemini. And there's one feature in Gemini Canvas that you can actually create application code with just a prompt. Now, what if that prompt could generate Angular apps? Sounds pretty cool, right? Well, to tell us all about it and show some really fun demos, let's welcome Saravana and Miriam from Gemini. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Thank you both for coming on.
Thank you, Mark. That was a great intro to Gemini App Canvas. Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here. My name is Miriam Sanglaji, Group Product Manager here in Gemini App. And today we're very excited to talk about Canvas and Angular together.
Yeah, and thanks a lot for having us, Mark. I'm Saravana. I'm the engineering lead on Canvas, and super excited to be here.
So I hope many of you have used the Canvas feature within Gemini app. But for those of you who haven't used it, I'll give you a very short intro into what Canvas is. So you can think about it as Canvas as a platform where you go and co-create with Gemini. You can co-create a document, for example, within your organization. You can create a product requirements, an executive strategy doc, a blog that you want to write for your feature. That's one side of it. And then more importantly, you can create dynamic applications, functional interfaces, and a working code just from a natural user prompt. And just think about this for a second. Now, your thoughts, your team thoughts within your organization can really become these interactive creation in real time. So we are giving everyone the power to bring their thoughts into reality. And that's super, super exciting. So we see this across the board. For example, a UX, PM, marketing person can create product iterations that they're thinking about very quickly, bring those to life, really test them out and be like, oh, this is the one that I want to basically promote to production. Or maybe they can also create tools that they can increase their productivity. And these tools, these productivity tools are really personalized to them. Or, for example, you can create tools for your organization very easily to make decision-making faster. Like, for example, a customer analysis tool. We see this across the board with people who use Canvas today. And so we wanted to especially talk about how Canvas and Angular come together to create these powerful applications that we see many of our users use today. And we have prepped 2 demos. Hopefully one is interactive and you can try it out as well. But I'll pass it down to Saravana. You want to walk us through the first one?
All right. Thanks, Mariam. All right, let's go to the demo. So the Gemini app is at gemini.google.com, and Canvas is a tool in the Gemini app. You can see it here. When you select Canvas and you type, add a prompt, Canvas can create documents or write code. And for Angular, it can actually render the code and show you a preview. So let's go to the first demo. Let's say we want to build like a minimal version of the Gemini app itself inside Canvas. So what I'm doing here is I pasted a screenshot of the Gemini app, and I have a prompt that I'm going to copy paste here. And the prompt just says, please create an app using Angular. Make sure you add the Gemini LLM API to the app, and please use Material UI icons and Material Design. And let's send it away.
So this is the live demo. So we're essentially building Gemini within Gemini Canvas.
Yeah.
Super, super cool.
So if you use the Gemini app, you can see it thinking, and then it starts writing code. When it writes the code, you have this right-hand panel that comes up. This is a code editor. It's very similar to VS Code. In fact, it's Monaco editor. And you can see the Angular code coming here. Here's the template, and it's writing the code. So while it's generating the code, I'll just switch to our second demo, so we can get that started. Mm-hmm. And this demo is about showcasing the Canvas ability to have storage in your app. So the theme behind Canvas is we want to integrate all these APIs and storage and everything without you having to do anything, right? And that's the beauty of it. The beauty is in the simplicity. So here I have a prompt where it says, please make a real-time group chat app in Angular. The app is for developers to chat about Angular, and it should be able to generate images using our flagship Nano Banana model. So let's see. Let's start that. We select Canvas. Oh, great. Yay.
And you want to use Nano Banana in the middle of our busy time? You are living on the edge.
Yes, we are risking it, but it's all about live demos here.
Yeah. All right. And here the app the app started generating. You can see we add some global variables here that lets us add the Firebase client-side configs in. And here the app has started to work. Let's see. Okay, going back to our first demo. So sometimes the very first time when Gemini generates an app, it might not work. We might hit a compilation error. We can go to the code and debug this, but I'm going to use the easy way and just ask Gemini to fix it for us. And let's see and let it generate. Okay, going back here. Oh man. Okay, this again hit an error. But I have a previously created version of the app. So here is the first one. This is a Gemini Chat UI clone. So this was a single shot image plus prompt, and it created the clone here. And I can ask it, ask Gemini something here. Hey, can you tell me a joke that only Angular developers would understand? Let's see.
Let's see the sense of humor. That's a risky one.
That only Angular developers will know. I love it.
Gemini is thinking hard.
Oh, well. Almost there.
Almost there.
Well, this is a busy time, and we know that some people are using it, so totally know that if this doesn't happen at this current moment, that's okay. This is definitely
let's come back to this. So while this is generating, I want to show you. So this is a very simple version of the Gemini app, correct? But our
you got to respond right at the last second.
Oh, did I? Okay. Why did Angular developer break up with their partner? Because changes outside the NG zone. All right. Okay. All right. So what I want to share is this is a very simple app. This is a very simple app. But our designer, Tim, he has created Canvas inside of Canvas. It's like a meta thing completely. And he uses it to create new prototypes of new features that we might want to create. And it's a fully functional Canvas interface. So for designers, this is very, very useful, as in they can take a screenshot of their production app, put it in, and then try to add a new feature or a component, quickly test it out and see how that interaction feels like. Let's go back to our other demo. Oh, this hit another error, but let me show you one that I created previously. this is the Gemini group chat. Hey, Gemini. And the API is integrated. We can create images. And I think we have a share URL in the group where we can go and create
We'll get that
images
posted.
and create
Yes.
banana.
I'm going to join, and I'm going to say hello too to everybody.
All right. Let's get that link. All right, there you see Nano Banana working within Canvas, like without having an API key or anything that's added. All right, let me also join the share link. Here we go. So this is a public shared link that anyone can join and add chat. Hey, Gemini.
Oh, I'm there. Do you see hi, friends? That was neat.
Oh, yay. Hey, Mark.
All right. We'll get that link posted. The link has been posted to the community. Okay, friends, if you're in the YouTube chat, you'll be able to click on that link. Code of conduct, be kind, be respectful. Don't get wild in this chat. All right. While our friends are using the chat, let's take a few community comments, some questions. Okay, here's a Gemini question. Is there a way to connect Gemini deep research and then move from there and move the outcomes to Canvas? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's a great question. So yes, there is a way. So today you can take the output of a DR research and bring it to Canvas, either through an infographic or a document. But I think there is more to be done. I think there is more to be done in terms of building a complete web app and stuff.
Yeah, so you can always add it as context to the model, so you can use it today.
Fantastic. Look, I can already see on the screen, people are already sharing things, and this is so fantastic. I love how the Angular community is participating and being thoughtful with what they're posting. Love it. Let's get a couple more community questions, and then we'll give our friends back some time in a busy day. Okay, this is a great question. So we already heard about where you use Gemini CLI in your workflow. How is Canvas different from Firebase Studio?
Yeah, excellent question again. So I think both these tools help you use Gemini to create your idea. So the Canvas is in the zone where you want to quickly prototype something and see if it works, share it with your team, and iterate. And Firebase Studio obviously is like a big powerhouse in itself. You have a lot more tools, MCP, agents, and stuff. So they kind of serve different purposes, but help you use Gemini to for your day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, so I would say Canvas is more of like a lightweight solution where you want to quickly prototype something, but it's not really suited for any productionized app. So if you want to productionize it, definitely there are other tools within Google ecosystem that you can use, like Firebase and AI Studio and lots more. But it's actually a very quick way, and we see that across the board that people are very comfortable because they already have some experience with Gemini app itself, but they're very comfortable with using Canvas and just basically visualizing their ideas quickly, and enabling a lot of people who were not developers, don't have an understanding of coding and all that. It's much easier surface for them to come in and try things out, which we see that today with a lot of within our team, a lot of our UX team are actually using Canvas to do iteration on the UX, which is super, super cool to see that we're enabling these folks to do all these complex applications without even them needing to understand the code and how code works.
Fantastic. Let's take one more question, and then we'll wrap up our stream for today. Oh, this has been so much fun. All right, how do we? Oh, good question. How can we handle the outcome failure case in Gemini, which occurred earlier? I think Sahil means.
Yeah. Great question. So Usually, what I find myself is just going and editing the code if there is a small error that Gemini made. But Gemini also detects if there are errors, and it'll show you a small pop-up saying "fix this error," and we go and fix it error. So sometimes it takes a few iterations for the app to come right, but this is something that we're working on trying to improve.
All
Yeah,
right.
so for
Well,
many
listen,
times after
oh, go ahead,
a
please.
couple of times. No, I'm saying at least for me, like I get that too, but like after a few runs of like fixers, it would just be fixed, or Gemini would fix it, which is actually pretty amazing to see without me actually going to the code.
Yeah, I'm loving all the images that are
Yeah,
coming
super
through.
cool.
Oh, the images are outstanding. The Angular community is one of the greatest developer communities in the entire world. I am so grateful that
Yeah.
they're just showing so much positivity, so much love for Angular and AI. This has been great. And I just want to say thank you to you, Miriam and Saravana. Thank you so much for literally taking the time. Friends at home, all these folks who you've seen today have been really generous with their time to come hang out with us. So we're really grateful. Thank you both so much.
Yeah.
And any
And-
last words before we say goodbye for today?
Oh yeah, thank you, Mark, for having us here. It's such a
Yes.
privilege, and we'd love to hear from you all on how Canvas can be better for Angular development, either for you or for your team. Please let us know. We have a Discord community and also an email that you can directly email us at. So thanks for coming today.
You got it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you, friends, later. Friends, all the links from today are in the description, so you'll be able to find that email that Saravana mentioned, so you can send feedback to the Gemini team. All right, everyone. So listen, I want to say this to you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Like literally you right there. If you're at your computer, at your laptop, at your phone, thank you. That's right, you. Thank you for coming and hanging out today. It has been so much fun. And we really hope that you've been inspired by the power of using Angular and AI together, because I'm going to tell you something really important. This is only the beginning of the work that we plan to share with you in the upcoming months. We are working really diligently behind the scenes because listen, we showed integrations with various Google AI products, and we have even more integrations coming. Like, for example, we recently landed integration with Google AI Studio. Now, if you want to try out the tools and demos, you definitely want to check out the links in the description of this video. And we are really, really excited for the future of Angular, and we can't wait to see what you get out there and build. And we hope that you create apps that your users will love. We'll see you the next time.